do you? Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Chai, Coffee, and Customs podcast. Today, we're going to talk about our third culture experiences visiting our quote unquote home country for the first time, or even just like the many times that we've gone and how we feel every time we go back. For those of you who are tuning in again, welcome back. And for those of you who are new here, hi. We are a podcast by third culture kids, for third culture kids, talking about third culture experiences, immigration, and everything in between. I'm Anu, one of your hosts, and with me I have these two wonderful ladies who will introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, this is Joe. I'm one of your co-hosts.
And hi everybody, this is Lakshmi and I am one of your co-hosts.
Awesome. So I guess let's dive right into it. Do you remember the first time you went back to India?
Ooh. I mean, we lived in Zambia, right? So visiting India was always part of the agenda, but I think back in the day when we were visiting from Zambia, it was more of like you get to visit every 2 years because that was part of the whole contract with my dad's job or our dad's job. So that's when, I don't really remember because I think we were too young at that time, especially you. You were like, what, 4 months?
Yeah, I actually used to be like, I mean,
I remember because our mom put you in a basket and carried you in
so cute.
because those days and all flights were like, right?
So cute.
So she was in this tiny basket sitting in there. That was
Bassinet
first
or basket?
basket because bassinets weren't a thing back in the day.
So cute.
It was like so, yeah.
She even used to take me to school like that.
You were a little basket baby.
Yes, you were. You were brought by the stork. Sorry, anyways. Getting back. Yeah, I don't remember that, but then maybe fast forward to now me having moved to Canada and now me visiting India after, even Zambia for that matter, because that's where we grew up. I think Zambia was exciting because I was able to show my husband where, I lived, where I was brought up, where I did my schooling. So it was kind of exciting when we first went there because I was able to take him around and show him what was my life like and basically who I am or who I was from a childhood perspective. India, I think recently it has been more, like when you go visit, it's been a little bit more emotional because parents are there. But then before, when it was visiting, like when we went for the first time, it wasn't very like. I actually visited the Taj Mahal for the first time when I went with my husband Kedar, and it felt like I was a tourist.
Have you
But yeah.
been to did you?
That was the first time I went with Kedar
Oh,
after 10 years of marriage.
oh wow.
Yeah, I've been to Qutub Minar and everything, but not to Taj Mahal. But anyways, yeah, my first time going back home, I wouldn't call it home anymore because this is home now. First time going back and visiting, I felt like a tourist because now this is home, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
For me, it was I went back to India in 2009. So I moved to Singapore in 2000, late 2007, 2009 when I went back. It just felt a bit alien because I don't know, like I think Singapore became a norm at that time. And Singapore, the traffic was so structured, like you change lane when you have to turn, exit and everything. It's spaced out. Like even though Singapore is like tall buildings in a very small country, there is a structure to madness over there.
Organized chaos.
Organized chaos. Thank you. But like when I first went back to Delhi, I remember it was like a bit overwhelming. Like suddenly it felt more populated. But pollution was overwhelming. The number of people were overwhelming, and it just felt a bit alien when I went there. And I remember I was like, that was like a bit like, oh my god, what's happening over here, kind of a feeling. But then it was fine. And then my parents moved to southern part of India, so they moved to Bangalore. And after that visit, I've not been back to Delhi. I've always visited
Bangalore.
Bangalore or Chennai, and every time I go there, like it's something or the other. Like I think initial parts when I visited, I always felt like it's too populated, it's too dirty, there's too much chaos on public property and everything. But I think off late, like the last visit that I made, I went to Bangalore, then went to Hyderabad and Chennai. Chennai and Bangalore were still the same populated, dirty, animals on the road and everything, which should be normal for me because I grew up with that. But it just feels a bit overwhelming once you're not living there. But then Hyderabad was uh, like, I was like, oh my God. I think the government there did an amazing job in cleaning up the city. It was clean. Traffic will always be there because we have issues with population and number of vehicles out there and everything, but there were very minimal to no animals on the road, and super clean. Like I couldn't see plastic or paper or any kind of pollutants on the
But you're
road.
seeing that more and more in Bangalore and
Yeah.
Chennai as well, like all the major cities.
Yeah,
That's an initiative because no more plastic, right?
yeah.
So you don't see a lot of that
It
on
was
the
still
roads
there
anyway.
in Bangalore.
It's
Yeah,
not as much as before.
is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, not as much as before. What about you?
Yeah, I'm just thinking like when I used to go from Zambia to India, I think I actually looked forward to it because that was the only time when we could like go out and eat
That's
and
true.
like go to restaurants and like actually have like ice cream. And not that I mean, it's not like we grew up in some village that didn't have ice cream, but like you could have ice cream,
A variety of ice
a
cream.
variety of ice cream, or like cone ice cream, which
Yeah.
is something we didn't have. So like as a kid, up until like my teens, I used to look forward to it.
Yeah.
And then once I hit my teens, going back for some, like to India for some reason was just like not enjoyable because then that's when people started like body shaming and like they would comment on like how you gained weight or how you have like acne on your skin
Yeah.
or something, or how you're dark or whatever, right? Like all of those comments from like people started. And then since then, I just never looked forward to it. Then college life in India was fine. And then when I moved to India, going back to Zambia, I always looked forward to it because Amma and Appa were there,
Yeah.
my friends were there, and we would all like kind of come back at the same time
Yeah.
and meet and hang out and all of that. And then obviously going back to India was like, okay, great, I have to go back now. Then when I worked there and I visited Zambia, that was kind of boring for me because none of my friends were there.
Yeah.
And Amma and Appa at that time were both busy. Like Appa was working and Amma was, I think, volunteering or doing some charity work. And so I would just be at home with nothing to do. So then I was like, oh, now I kind of want to go back to India. But now, like from Canada to India, I do notice like good and bad differences, or not differences, like good and bad things. So, like when I go back to India, I mentioned like previously in one of the other episodes that I don't like how the society is so involved in your life, and so it's like someone will just comment on like maybe how you look or how you talk or
Yeah.
like, oh, you have an accent, or if you say by chance you just say something like, oh, can I have bottled water, they'll be like, oh, bottled water or whatever, right? But on the other hand, like I've noticed how
Uh-oh. What?
but on the other hand, I noticed like how convenient India is compared to
is,
here, right? Like
yeah.
they have Dunzo, they have some other like
I
variety of
think India
apps.
is nice for retirement or
Yeah.
when you don't have to go out. Because when
I
you
don't think we can retire in India.
but when you don't have to go out, India is nice.
Yeah.
When you're sitting at home and everything comes to you
Yeah.
through Dunzo and whatever other apps that
Because
they
when
have.
we were in India last year and like we had to stay home because of Amma's situation, we just had to like we would just order like every
Yeah.
and it would come within like minutes. It's not like you have to wait.
So there was this comedian who I just recently saw, and he was like, my NRI friend who was visiting me was like, he went downstairs and he said like, let me go downstairs to buy a toothbrush, and he was like, brother, wait, what downstairs? Let me order it for you. And within 2 minutes, the toothbrush comes, and then he goes like, you know what, man, I missed this part. I wish I could remember his name, but he goes like, I, this is the things that I miss in India. So he goes like, yeah,
Yeah.
people being not paid for
That's
and
the thing.
delivering you toothbrush for like peanuts.
No, but like, we had like so many, like, so Dunzo is an app that started when I was working there. So they
Yeah.
would, at that time, they were only in Bangalore and only within a certain mile
Yeah.
radius. And when they started, it was ridiculous what you could do. I don't know if you can still use them for the things that we did at that time, but I remember one time, like, one of our colleagues didn't come into the office. And he didn't come to the office for 2, 3 days, and he wasn't replying to our messages or anything. So we got concerned because he lives alone.
Yeah.
We sent Dunzo to go and check if he's okay.
What?
And they did it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Was he okay?
He apparently, like, some friend of his had gone to the hospital in some bike accident or something.
Okay.
But we were just like, this, like, I don't know if you have something like that here, like in this
I
part
think
of the
that
world.
the convenience factor is there because of the population and also the class of population.
Yeah.
You know,
Right?
the thing that I actually admire that changed over the years in India is the financial apps. So Paytm, Google
GPay,
Pay,
yeah.
and
It became
everything.
digitalized.
It's digitalized and it is so convenient that even when you're like buying something from a street vendor, they all have GPay
Yeah.
and Paytm and whatnots. I'm like, this is amazing because I had that in Singapore where I just have to type in somebody's somebody's phone number, and I don't even have to save them as a contact in my transfer app or my banking app, and automatically I can send money to the phone number. I don't have to save here. I have to sit down, create a profile, add them, then transfer. That ease of financial payments and the apps is so good. And there is a security element as well. Like people will say, oh, that's why there is fraud and everything. But then in India, to kind of like counteract towards the fraud, you have the UPN pins and
OTP, yeah.
OTP,
and
which is a
everything.
big
Yeah.
thing that Kedar hates. But anyways,
Yeah. But then,
everything is an OTP.
yeah, but then that is something that is missing from our current transactions.
Because everything is credit cards,
Yeah.
right? That's why.
Yeah.
There's no
Because then it
phone.
goes directly from debit.
Yeah.
There it's all debit.
Yeah.
That's the culture there. Here
Yeah.
it's all credit, which took some time for me to get used to. Because I'm like, why am I buying if I don't have the money?
It's funny you said that though, because like I remember a few years ago, because we've had as far as I know, we've had the tap
Yeah.
for a really long time. And I
Here.
know in Canada, but I know people from the US. So I remember the first time I went to the US from Canada, I was just like, and they're just like, what are you doing? Tapping. Like, we don't have, that's not a thing here.
Yeah.
So that's also, I think it only recently came in the US as well.
Yeah.
The other thing that I was thinking, it's a little more of a deeper question, is like, was there ever a time that you went to India and you felt like you didn't belong even though you thought you would?
I've always never felt I've belonged in India. So for me, it was never a
But was there any like particular situation?
situation as in,
Like a particular situation that made you realize like, oh shit, I don't belong here.
I think just generally like, maybe not a particular situation, but a series of situations. But one that probably stuck with me is when I finished my graduation and I moved to Zambia to work. And work culture there was slow, but it was still like your profession was respected. Let's put it that way. And they would still be like, okay, she's talking, let's listen to her, let's look at the drawings, there's a discussion, there's more of an involvement, there is no sidetracking or sidelining of people. Whereas when I remember when we moved to India when I was supposed to get married, I worked there for about 8 months, and it was just like, I don't know, it was not something that I would ever want to experience again. I just felt very disrespected. First of all, I was disrespected, like architecture or whatever profession was just like, oh, okay, fine. Anybody can draw, anybody can do drawings. And then two, the fact that you're a woman was the other thing where, it's just like, oh, she's talking, let's just do our thing. And I still remember my boss, who was also a woman. It was her own company, and I remember her yelling at a contractor who was a man who was completely disrespectful and was trying to do his own thing on site and not following what she was instructing or telling him to do. So that just kind of made me like, I can, like, yeah, that was one of the aspects of maybe I cannot, I don't feel myself, I cannot be myself here professionally. Personally, I never felt that I would ever be there. So even professionally, I cannot be myself here.
Yeah.
So it was just not something, yeah, that's probably one of the things, but amongst many other things.
I'll come back to you because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
want to know your
absolutely.
experience as well. But one of the things that you used to say when you used to go to college, which obviously was it's all in good spirit when people would make fun of the fact that you're an
Oh,
NRI.
yeah.
So did that ever bother you?
In college, the good and bad thing. The good part was they had a whole international hostel, so we had a lot of students who were from abroad. And when I say students, I mean like actual foreign students, like people who looked foreign, if that even makes sense.
Yeah.
Walking around in the campus. Was it something that people would stare? Yes. One of the things I still remember, just because I was from abroad, one of the comments that I would get is like, I have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like that's like one of the things that people just assume, that you have a lot of money if you're living abroad and you're not living or working in
Yeah.
India. And it's which is not true, as we all know. We also work hard. We also have bills to pay here. We're not
Yeah.
just swimming in money, and we're not rich. So exactly, right? Donald Duck. Anyways, I wish. Uh, but yeah, it actually humbled me a lot and made me realize that like the way people think is that, oh, you go abroad, you're making a lot of money now, you come with all these branded stuff. And honestly speaking, I don't own a single branded thing. And it's the struggle is real.
Yeah.
It's not easy living abroad and trying to make it. And yeah, I mean, social media, everything is superficial. So yeah, I think that's one of the things. Yes, like just that misconception of, oh, you're from abroad, so you have a lot of money, you're comfortable, you don't need to worry about so many things.
Yeah.
You came in here on an NRI quota.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
How about you?
I mean, like, I grew up there, so I don't feel out of place. And I speak, like, if I go to southern part of India, except in Karnataka, and like, I can navigate myself speaking in Hindi or in Tamil. So I've not felt out of place, or I've not felt like I don't belong here. But there are certain things that I observe and I'm like, I can't deal with this. So things like government stuff, I can't deal with it. There's still, like, there's this tax refund that needs to happen. And it is annoying because they're doing their job and reminding me that you need tax refund. Like, there is a tax refund for you, you need to put your Aadhaar card in. And I'm like, I selected that I'm NRI and I don't have Aadhaar card. Then where will I put my Aadhaar card to get the tax refund? So those are certain things that annoy me, because, like, having lived in Singapore or here, where if I email, I know even if it gets delayed, in Singapore it never gets delayed. They'll respond back in that time that is allotted. Here, okay, even if it gets delayed, I know I can call the number and get a response.
I got a response from Justin Trudeau's office
Exactly.
when he was in office.
So you know that somebody will read my email and respond. But in India, that is one thing that annoyed me. And then again, like you said, work culture. I've worked in, like, I think probably about 1 year. And after having worked that 1 year in India, and then last many several years in overseas, like other parts of the world, I know that how the culture there is and how the culture everywhere else is. Like, culture, there'll be people who are political, people who have hidden agenda everywhere in the world. But the amount of people that have hidden agenda and political agenda in India as compared to other places is different. So I don't think, one, if you say that India might be a place where you can retire, I don't think I will ever retire there.
I'm
because
saying
I
it's
can't.
good for retirement. I didn't
That's
say I
right.
would retire there.
Oh yeah, good for retirement. But I know that I can never retire in India because I can't deal with political offices or government offices and everything. I can't deal with people there. Simply, like,
One of the
I
good
can
things
deal with my people,
One of the
like
good things
my
about
family there.
the work there is that you get food.
That is true.
And you
was-
get someone who will come and serve coffee to you at your desk.
I
And they know exactly what kind of coffee,
Yeah.
how much sugar,
Sugar.
the darkness, everything. They know for every single person in the office, be it one person, be it 10 people,
That's-
be it 50 people.
we were about 70 or 80 people at our office.
Yeah.
We had, so in the morning you come, you go tell the auntie that I want,
Auntie.
so there's either bread omelette or something else, Maggie.
Yeah.
These are the two breakfast options. And then
It's not the
she'll-
most healthiest things, but still, it's food.
So she'll make like whatever you ask, and with that, your coffee will come at your desk. You have your breakfast, you have your coffee, you work, and then around 1 o'clock there'll be like a buffet of food. That is healthy. Like,
Yeah.
So I
Healthy-ish.
healthy-ish.
So
I mean, we were also young, so yeah.
I worked with Hindustan Times, and then I worked with RPO, like a research outsource company. So both were so large that we didn't have.
But I'm sure you had enough cafes around.
We had cafes,
But
and
I thought
we
that
had,
the bigger companies
I
have
thought
these
so too.
perks.
they
I
had
thought so too.
like they had the peons or wait staff for bigger roles. Like my Hindustan Times role was a sales role. I was probably in the office for half a day across 1 week, so I wasn't in the office.
That makes sense.
And then there would not be an appointed person who will come and say, here's your chai or here's your namkeen and everything. But we could call someone and say, hey, bhaiya, can you bring chai for like 5 people or something like that. But there was like not an appointed person who would remember everyone. And similarly, in my RPO role, we had wait staff for the meeting rooms and everything. Probably, I don't remember it very well. We definitely had lots of cafes, not cafes like the dhabewala
Yeah.
and everyone downstairs. So
Yeah.
we could just go downstairs, buy something, and come back up. So that was one experience that I experienced when I was working in Singapore, and we did a video call with someone in our Pune office, and then I saw a cart being carted in, somebody handing tea,
Yeah.
and all of us in Singapore were like, "What is happening?" And these were also not like senior people; they were people who were our peers, and then we're like, "Wait." They have wait staff over there. Like, why don't we have someone?
Yeah, it's the same thing here. You come here, you make your own coffee, get your own
Yeah.
water. Everything is self-service here.
Yeah. But
Which
again,
is-
that's
which is also
that's
good.
cheap labor, right?
That's
Like,
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And the population allows it to happen.
Yeah.
And the amount of businesses and the amount of class of businesses that are there allow it to
Yeah.
happen, right? Like here, it makes sense. Like everybody is equal, regardless of
I don't mind being a chaiwali.
Chaiwali.
It's less stress,
That's
man.
why we have chai, coffee, and customs. Okay.
Oh my God. We are not a wait staff. We are not wait staff. Although you said someone asked you that if it's a cafe, if you're starting a cafe.
I know. My friend was like, "You have a cafe?" I was like, "No,
no,
Maybe in the future.
it's a podcast."
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, that's definitely some like one of the good things. But yeah, I agree with the politics.
Yeah.
I haven't been firsthand, I haven't experienced that firsthand in the work culture there because I
Yeah.
did work very limited amount of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see like politics kind of happening and all sorts
I
of.
mean, the people that I worked with were amazing. I'm still friends with some
That's
of them.
nice.
They, I follow, like, there's one person that I constantly send reels to every day, and she sends me reels back. But like, we
If you're watching, you know who you are.
yes. And then I'm still in touch with most of them,
That's
but
nice.
then I saw the politics that was happening around me. So I was lucky enough that I was protected by people who were protecting me and my peers. And I had this amazing manager in Hindustan Times. Not sure, Vidhi ma'am, if you're listening, shout out to you. But then she was amazing. She protected us. And similarly, in the RPO, I had these amazing managers. Like, we worked on different projects and everything. So I was protected. So nothing in political, like, so nothing work politics wise affected me. But I did see what was happening. And then when I was in Singapore and I was working with my peers in India, I saw the same kind of attitude and everything, but they were a bit like cautious because they were like, okay, that's Singapore. We are like a remote APAC office, like India office, so we need to be a bit cautious and everything. But you saw like how they spoke to other folks and everything. So that is like I can't keep quiet. If I see that, I
Yeah.
will probably be the Karen. And so that's why I know that I won't be retiring in India.
Mm.
Retirement, whether you're a Karen or not, people will not care.
I
After
know.
the certain age, they don't care what Buddhist talk,
I
okay?
know.
That's true.
But yeah, I agree with. I mean, I will say like I'm not saying that it was all bad when I was working there. I will say that I gained a lot of good knowledge and experience because in terms of like particularly to the field, like you can go crazy with your design and you can still make it happen. And I think I learned a lot from like a because I worked with startup companies. I learned a lot along the way, which obviously adds to the experience of where you are today. So.
Yeah, I think it was the same for me. Like my work experience was really good. I worked in Bangalore.
Yeah, I remember you saying you
And
loved
I
working
loved
there.
working there. Like if I was someone who wanted to settle down in India, I probably would have grown in that company and not shifted.
Yeah.
It was a really good company. I had the same like good manager, good team who was very protective of like the work politics and made sure that I wasn't involved in anything.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing was it's a big company. They're a huge company. When I joined, they were 75, I think 75 years old. And they're a global company. And so we got to kind of work with different teams, within India, in Singapore, in the
Yeah.
UK, in the US. We worked with all these different teams. And one of the things is that, so I worked in PR and communications, and it's so fast paced over there.
Yeah.
So fast paced. So when I came to Canada and did my first job, I was working at a startup and it wasn't as fast paced as here.
Yeah.
Like I would find myself sometimes with like 1 or 2 hours at the end of the day to do nothing.
Yeah.
Because I finished it so quickly because of the skills I learned in India.
Yeah.
Obviously now that's not the case. Now that we're all working from home, everything is fast paced. So
Everything is in your
Yeah.
your time.
in your time, yeah, that's true. One of the other things I was thinking of when you were talking about how you can't like deal with, I guess, like certain things in India. Do you ever feel like guilty, or so? Do you feel guilty, or do you feel proud, or what do you feel of how you now view things in India? Because certain people who live
Especially
there,
you because you were born and
Yeah.
brought up there.
Yeah.
and people who live there kind of are okay with that system, or maybe they're not. I've also heard my friends in India complain about
Yeah.
it. But do you feel like, how do you feel that you're out of that system, and do you feel, say, bad complaining about it?
I honestly like I love India. I grew up there, my family's there, my cousins are there. It's just these little things that annoy me, and that little things is because how systemically it's never changing. There are so many educated people in India, like the whole state of Kerala has 100% literacy.
Yep.
But why is the government still the same one? Like I'm not saying one particular party, but everyone in politics is there for their agenda. They're not there for people's agenda. And why is that? Because people like us moved out. People who are educated and living in India are not voting. Who are voting? People who are uneducated, people who are farmers, people who don't have that background that this is good for the country or is it good for just me. I remember when I was in India, I think this was still back in Delhi, where these state elections would happen, and there was this huge slum area near my apartment complex.
I know this story.
Yeah. And then every election, each of the slum person would get like a best model refrigerator or the best model television out there to vote for the party who wants to win.
Yeah.
And the party who does really want to do the right thing doesn't have enough funding, and they don't win because the large populace is uneducated and they're doing what they want to do for a small amount of cash or a small amount of gratification, right?
But do you feel this way because you've been exposed to living
I've
abroad?
always felt like
You've
that.
always felt
Yeah,
like that?
it's always been like that. So when I could vote, I started voting in India.
That makes sense.
And then after I left India, I noticed somebody else was voting in my name.
Oh, wow.
Yes, even if you Google my name, my dad's name, my brother's name, and my mom's name, there is someone still voting in. I Google it
Interesting.
every year. There is still someone in Delhi
Interesting.
who's voting under our names.
Wow.
So that's why I think systems like Aadhaar card and
I mean, it's the change is happening. It's
the
just
change is
yeah.
happening, but it's a bit slow. But these are the things that are that are evolving that systemic.
And also, I think people are
oppression,
speaking
yeah.
out a lot more
Yeah.
now than
So
before.
that's why I feel like people who are our age group or younger than us who are not taking advantage of making those change happen, that annoys me.
Mm.
So
I mean, it's still happening, you're right, but it's slower than it needs to be. But then,
Exactly.
hey, at least it's happening, right?
exactly.
Which is good.
So to answer your question, I always felt like there needs to be a change that needs to. Is this answering your question? Sorry. Yeah. So there always needs to be a change happening. There always needs to be that difference. So I think we were brought up with like a growth mindset, and my parents allowed us to ask questions and challenge things. So that kind of helped us think differently, like my brother and me.
But I think that's a lot of people in your generation who are educated, who do
Yeah.
question the system and think differently.
Yeah.
Because I guess the parental generation of our age group have that change
Educated,
mentality and
exactly.
education, right?
Exactly.
So, which I think is translated to how we feel,
Yeah.
to hopefully how our future generation feels.
Yeah.
But yeah, like again, in terms of, it's funny you say that because I think even Kedar feels the same way. I feel like people who are brought up in India have a completely different view of India than people who lived away from India. We have a completely different view. Like, yeah, we don't not like the place. We do.
Yeah.
We do, but we have a very different mindset. I mean, I'd like to hear yours before I tell you mine.
I think like when people complain about Indian like government or politics, I'm just like, come to Africa and see how it is.
That's exactly
Like
my view.
you guys are so lucky.
Exactly.
Your government is at least like existing and doing stuff, even if it's
the
for their own
beginning.
agenda.
In the beginning.
In the beginning, even if it's for their agenda, they're doing it.
I mean,
And
it's not
I
that
have-
the government in Zambia
No,
was- it had its own.
in Zambia, there's no. I feel like the politics is very laid back. Like
Yeah.
there's no.
They're an island.
There's no
Any time from now.
Yeah, it's like very slow and very like I do like although when I did visit this time I did hear like it's become better.
Oh yeah.
And it's the same for India, right? Like the India that I was working in and the India that I visited last year is very different. Like
Yeah.
you can see the improvement, right?
You can see the change, and it's changed for the positive, which
Yeah.
I think is really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think from
Like for me, the biggest thing was like, oh, I can get a massage at my home every day.
And that's cheap labor.
no, for me
I know that's the whole point, right?
no, for me
Because again of the population and the class. Sorry, I keep interrupting.
That's okay.
Yeah.
No, for me, I mean, like those are all the good things, but even just from like from the government point of view, like the infrastructure has grown.
Oh, yeah.
The place is a lot cleaner than before.
For cleanliness, again, I'm not going to agree because
You
Bangalore.
come from
But when did
Singapore,
you
so you
visit-
can't compare
Also,
any
when
other.
did you visit
last year.
She was there last year.
Oh, okay. But I felt like it was cleaner than when I had gone like 2-3 years ago.
No.
It's definitely is cleaner. Forget the animals on the road. That's
No, not even animals on the road.
But you
They're-
you shouldn't compare to Singapore.
No,
or
don't compare
Canada.
to Singapore or
Compare
Canada.
to the India you visited, say, a few years ago.
Yeah.
I
It's
felt it was
definitely
cleaner.
cleaner. Plastic is not a thing anymore,
Yeah.
especially
There's a
in
huge garbage dump near my parents' place.
where?
Right next door. They've been trying to clean it up and people still
I
keep
haven't-
dumping there.
I haven't
I
seen
don't
it.
know because I visited your parents as well. And
It's
it wasn't
right
that
next
bad.
door. Like as soon as you turn from the bus stop, the green patch over there
Oh, that
is
was the
the
temple
garbage
before,
dump.
I think.
No, the temple
Oh, the
is on
temple
the
on the
left
other side.
side.
Okay, right, got it. I
The
think I know where
right
you're
side,
talking
the
about.
bus stop, is a dumping ground.
See, dumping ground is fine, but the general is not fine. In general,
She's like, just forget about that.
Stop talking about the topic.
in general,
In general,
like
the roads.
your surrounding areas, like
Like when I
house.
used to walk on the roads when I was in college, you used to have a lot of garbage on the sides. That's
That's
not
not
there
there
anymore.
Still there.
I don't know
At
which part
least-
of
yeah, I don't
Bangalore
know.
you
Where my
were.
parents live.
You come to Rajeshwari.
Yeah.
It's
Or go to
expensive.
like Basongudi
Or go to
Indiranagar.
Jayanagar,
Yes,
Basongudi,
yeah.
Indranagar. All those areas
It's
are
expensive.
clean.
I come from middle class family. This is my
Please, you
area.
come from
Where
Singapore.
we stay is the most middle class area. Okay.
Where I stay it's rural, okay? I live in farmland.
No, I mean like in India.
Oh, in India. Oh, yeah. In India, we stay in like outskirts.
South Bangalore is like the most.
We are in her rural dungeon right now.
I know,
You
right?
can see how rural it is.
It is rural.
Anyway, I think we can end this episode here. It went a bit all over, but I think we got the gist of it. But ending it as quote unquote, we're not NRIs anymore. We're Canadian. Well, you're Singaporean.
Yeah.
So we're Canadian citizens. So I'll end the episode by asking like the most NRI question ever.
Oh my god.
When you go to India, what is the first food you eat?
Me?
Yeah,
Masala dosa.
Agreed.
same. Dosa.
Dosa. I mean,
Not
it's never the same. You
Yeah.
don't get that same taste here at all.
You mean eat outside?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like mom's food.
Mom's
and all.
food is different.
Okay.
Avial even I can make for you. You know I make for you.
I know you make
So-
fun.
It's dosa and filter coffee.
Filter coffee.
Filter coffee.
Yeah,
And,
dosa
and rava idli.
Ah, okay.
Mm. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Sorry, there are many. There's even bhel puri.
Bhel puri, chaat.
Chaat.
Yeah, the listing go
All
on.
the chats. Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for listening and joining in for this episode. Make sure that you're subscribed to our channel on YouTube and you're following us on Spotify. That's Chai, Coffee and Customs Podcast. And make sure you're following us on Instagram because we do share episode drop dates, trailers, behind the scenes, and some community, community news or photos. That's
Yeah.
Chai, Coffee and Customs _pod. Thanks for tuning
See you
in.
next time.
See you next
Bye.
time.